Hi, folks. Thanks for joining me, Johnny, here at Johnny's Journey. Got some strange news for you tonight.
When it rains, it pours, but you didn't even notice. It ain't raining anymore. It's hard to breathe when all you know is the struggle of staying above the rising waterline. The sky's finally open, rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. Hold tight to your umbrella, darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over.
Welcome back, folks. So today at work, I work one-on-one with the autistic gentleman, and so we went to his VOTEC class, his vocational class, and after about 45 minutes maybe of class, maybe even a little less, we went out of the building for what we call a mask break. So we go out, we take the masks off and stay far away from each other and whatever. And when I was walking out the door, now the building that we were in is a big, cement block building. It's, no cell signal inside, and I haven't gotten the password to the Wi-Fi yet or anything like that. So when we got out the doors and we're walking towards the open area, my cell phone was like buzzing away with text messages and things like that. So when we got over there to our area, I checked it out, and they were from my teacher saying I have to get my student to one of the crisis crew members immediately. So when I turned, that gentleman that they told me I had to bring him to was standing at the entrance of our building, which is next door to the vocational building, and he's waving us over. So I brought my student over, and they took us back through the hallways and to the quarantine room, and they sent him into the quarantine room, and I was like, what do I do? And I'm like, all his stuff and my stuff is over in the other building. They said, go ahead and go get it. So I went and got it, came back, and, handed it off to them for him. And I said, so now what do I do? And they said, oh, just go back to your classroom. And I was like, go back to my classroom? So I turned around and headed down the hallway towards my classroom, and one of the administrators said, where are you headed? And I said, to my room. They told me to go back to the room. And she's like, no, I don't think so. Come on over here and have a seat in the office. So I went over, had a seat in the office, and I found out that one of the students that was on the same bus as my student was showing what could be COVID symptoms. So that's why he was sent over to the quarantine room and everything. I was not sent into the quarantine room, though. So I don't know. I didn't know what was the protocol and what would be going on. I, wasn't sure. So I sat in the principal's office, basically, waiting. And it took about a little over an hour. And then the principal came out and told me that I am what they call a secondary exposure. So a primary exposure has to be quarantined and everything. Secondary exposure doesn't have to be quarantined or anything like that, because I was exposed to him after he was exposed, and it would take much too long for a virus to be in his system long enough to be able to, to get to me. In other words, someone doesn't become contagious within an hour or an hour and a half, I guess. It must take a few days. So anyway, they told me, okay, you can go up to your room and, whatever. And then now my student won't be in until the student that had the symptoms gets tested and the test results come back. So, and the whole classroom had to go and things like that. So it was very scary. And, not only that, I have diabetes and I am considered obese. And I, have asthma. I was in the hospital with pneumonia just last year. And so when I went to my endocrinologist appointment today, I just so happened to have the appointment this afternoon. I said to him, I explained to him what happened, and asked him, should I be afraid of that? Is there, what are my concerns? And he said, your concern is that you're a high risk group in more than one factor. So you should be, if there's an option to work remotely, you should be asking for that option. So there is an accommodation procedure that I'm going to go through now, because the doctor recommended that I do that. He said I really shouldn't be there. And on top of that, I have an 87-year-old mom who's also kind of pneumonia prone, and she's on a good amount of medication and things like that. So she's high risk. I'm high risk too, he said. So he said that I should be applying for the accommodation. So it looks like that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply for the accommodation to work from home, and we'll see how that goes. But it was kind of a real scary for an hour or so there. It was, unsettling. So now a whole class and anybody on the student's bus are home quarantining until his results come back. You can't get tested or anything. They won't accept that. You have to wait for his results to come back. So what I decided to do was just kind of stay away from my mom until his results come back and I know that everything's clear. And the strange thing about it is this is the room that I used to work in last year. So it's all my students from last year and all my coworkers that are out. And, and my student is out until they come back. So, we'll see what they do with me tomorrow. So, this is how it goes, I guess, if you decide to work in a school that's going back live. And I don't think this is the first, I don't think this is the last one. I think this is, it was the fourth day of school that we had this issue. 4 days in, and we're already, quarantining and removing a whole class and all the students on a particular school bus. You know, it's kind of, yeah, that's kind of worrisome, but you know, it is what it is. And I know the student, and I know that, you know, that those symptoms are actually pretty common for him. So, you know, I don't think that it's really a concern. I think it's going to come back negative, and we're all going to be fine. But, you know, anytime a kid has, you know, some symptoms that match, this is going to happen each time. Until, you know, one time they actually do have it, and then the school's going to get closed down and we're going to go back to virtual. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but, you know, I thought I was doing the right thing by going back and, you know, working with the students and doing that. And my doctor was not happy with that at all. He said I really shouldn't be there. So I'm going to fill out the forms and do what I need to do, I guess. All right, folks. So I think everything's going to be okay. I hope. Take care. Wonderful talking to you all. Have a great night. Bye-bye.